Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Today I want to run you through this adorable little follow your heart note card. I cased this from the catalog pretty close, but I just loved the sentiment, and I loved that the little heart is towing the camper. I don't know, it was just a really cute one. The sample was great in the catalog. Mine's a little bit different. I kind of loosely case things, but I wanted to bring this to you because there's some things that I used here on this card that I'm going to sorely miss when Stampin' Up! Retires them in just a couple of days. So let's go through the supplies that you need to make this card. The Stampin' Up! Supplies are Stampin' Pads, Basic Black, and Pool Party. And I used the biggest birthday ever bundle. This is available while supplies last. The biggest birthday ever bundle. We're going to use this kind of cloud image that makes a great ice cream scoop. And we're going to use the heart die from the framelits. We're also going to use one of my favorite Stampin' Up! Acquisitions of the year. I bought this Your Sublime for me. I wanted to color these images. I just really loved this stamp set, but it is going away. It'll be retired in just a few days, and I needed to make a few more cards with it before it goes on its way. So, Your Sublime. We're going to need some thick white baker's cord. This is on the retirement list while supplies last. And we're going to use some pattern paper here from this Moroccan Designer Series Paper. You can tell that this has been a favorite of mine. Let me just show you some of the patterns that are in it. It's a great paper pack to get while supplies last. On the A side, it has all these fun like multicolor kaleidoscope or like mosaic patterns. And on the B side, it has kind of a single color monochromatic geometric pattern. So there's one, here's another one. This one I've used almost entirely up. Look at that kaleidoscope pattern. And then this pretty like lattice pattern. And this is the one we're using today, this Emerald Envy one. And the back of that is a Emerald Envy and Dapper Denim kaleidoscope pattern. I use this one quite a bit too, the back side of that. Here's a Dapper Denim Diamond, say that 3 times fast, pattern. And this is a Cajun Craze with little dots of Emerald Envy. I love this. This is a great summer pattern with its kind of terracotta color. And that's the one we're using again. Here's a early espresso lattice with a beautiful I don't know, scroll pattern, filigree pattern on the back. So that's what I have left of the pack. I think you've seen all the designs, but that's while supplies last. It's on the retiring list, and we're going to use a piece of that today. We're going to be watercoloring with the Stampin' Up! Watercolor pencils. These came out in the Occasions catalog, and they're carrying into the new catalog, which I'm excited about because I've been using them more and more. And we're going to use Bermuda Bay, Calypso Coral, Early Espresso, and Basic Gray. Okay, we'll also need aqua painters, and they come in a 2-pack with a finer brush point, and then there's a little bit more of a bold brush. And then I'm going to use this finer one in this particular project. I have another Your Sublime project where we're going to use the wider brush to make kind of a background. So, but for painting and the details, we'll use the fine brush. We'll need our consumable supplies, and they are, let's see here. We've got a card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and this is Pool Party. And I've got it scored this way. My Moroccan Designer Series paper is 3/4 of an inch by 4 1/4. I've got a panel here of Whisper White for the card, so that's 4 1/4 by 2 1/4. I've got just a 1/2 inch of Calypso Coral that is also 4 1/4. The bittiest little scrap, that's for die cutting our heart. And This one's 1 by 1.5. It's more than what we'll need. And then you need a second panel of Whisper White. I have 2 1/4 by 3 1/4 here. It's just so that we can get this dimension on the camper. What we're going to do is stamp it once on this base panel of Whisper White and leave the little flag. And then we're going to stamp it again on the second piece of Whisper White and Fussy Cut and Bump. Okay, so let's get started here. I'm going to get my Stampin' Pierce mat and some ink pads, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my camper stamp right here and some Post-it notes. And the first thing we're going to do is mask off the camper. We just want the sentiment. So you'll see I'm going just underneath the sentiment here, but I want to cover all of this camper. All right, I think I've got it. Let's see how I did. We don't want anything to get ink but that little sentiment. Then we'll bring our ink pad in and just ink the sentiment there. Then peel away the mask. Now we've got Follow Your Heart. And we're going to stamp that in place. Here, let me bring my sample in so you can see where we're putting it. Off to the side here. Isn't that cute? Okay, so there's our Follow Your Heart sentiment. Okay, now we need the camper over here without the sentiment. So we're gonna mask it the other way. We're gonna clean off the Follow Your Heart and dry it. And then take a Post-it note and we're gonna mask off just the words this time. Okay, so the words are all masked off, and we'll bring the stamp to the ink pad again. Remove the masks. Now you see just the camper is inked, and we'll stamp the camper over to the right. All right, last image here. We need to ink up the camper one more time and stamp the camper on our scrap. Make sure that my card opens the right direction. I've got my pool party ink and this great big cloud image. I love this. We're going to stamp it almost to the very top edge. Up, let the ink transfer for this big stamp. It's going to dry lighter than it looks. And then we want to be sure that we leave enough of the next cloud showing. So we're going to kind of audition where we want it using our camper panel. Slide the camper panel out of the way and then stamp that second cloud. So we're going to cut just the camper out of this piece. The flag is going to stay on this first layer. So I've got my early espresso, and I'm going to scribble some early espresso on a scrap piece of card. And I've got my Calypso coral, and I'm going to color that directly on this little heart. All right, now let me show you what I'm going to do with this. Got my water brush. I'm going to make sure it's clean, and then just touch that Calypso coral and kind of blend it. We've colored it in solid, but we just want to soften it and blend it. Then with the early espresso, since it's kind of a stark color, we're going to mix it up with the water from the brush on our scrap paper and then bring in and paint. And I want this space right here against the antenna to be our darkest brown. So we'll start there and then work our way out, letting the brush rinse itself. Then I'm going to really come back with just a little bit more because I want to intensify that shadow. And then blend it till it fades. All right, so there's our flag. Now, the little camper that we're going to cut out, we're going to do both techniques again. I'm going to take my Bermuda Bay and make a solid mark, and I'm going to completely fill in all of the trim on the trailer. Okay, I'm nearly all the way around the trailer now, and I've put full coverage of this Bermuda Bay pencil. Now, going back to our scrap paper here, we're gonna lay down some color on the scrap. Then I'm going to, before I pick up, make sure my brush is clean, I'm going to just soften this line all the way around my trailer. And it just makes it look a little more watercolor, not so scratchy like I laid down pencil. Okay, then I'm going to pick up some color from my scratch paper, and I'm going to draw panels onto my little trailer. Pick up a little more color. There it is, pretty simple. See our little panel trailer? All right, cleaning up my brush. Now we're gonna use the same technique that we used on the heart for our door. So we'll color it in nice and solid with the Calypso Coral. Edge to edge, really fill it in. I do avoid the window and the doorknob. Okay, I've got a clean brush. Let's make sure, yep, nice clean brush. And I'm just gonna softly blend that Calypso Coral with a little bit of water. I like the texture that it gives. Okay, and then I've got my basic gray, and we're gonna go solid on this tire. The basic gray. We avoided the center. We'll do the hitch with the basic gray. And then with a clean brush, I'm just going to really lightly soften this and run over the center. Okay, pretty simple. I'll fussy cut this and be right back. Okay, I'm nearly finished. There we go. There's our little fussy cut trailer. And let's assemble this card, shall we? Okay, so I've got a length of thick white baker's twine and a mini glue dot. I'm going to pick up a glue dot the end of the twine. Then on our base level of the camper, we're going to adhere that down. Next up, I've got some dimensionals here, and we'll pop our little trailer up with dimensionals. And there's our cutie little trailer. Now, for the sake of speed and drying, I'm going to pick up a glue dot on the end of my fingernail, and what I'm gonna do is loop the twine the way I want it on my card, and then below where the baker's twine overlaps, I'm just going to hide that little glue dot. So we'll do that underneath both loops. We've got there. And you want to do a little finesse so that you cover up all that sticky and then trim the tail. Now I've got my panel and my Calypso Coral and a snail adhesive. I'm going to run the snail adhesive all the way along the bottom edge of my Whisper White camper panel. And then I'm going to adhere just the tiniest little peekaboo edge of Calypso Coral. There we go. Now for my Designer Series paper, I'm going to put that. Okay. Now add our little camper panel. Okay, now my little panels here are a bit long, so I'm going to turn over and trim them off. There we go, looks good. Last step, let me get the Big Shot, and we are going to die cut our little heart. And back with the Big Shot, the magnetic platform. We're going to get this little heart die and cut one of those out. I love how easy the Big Shot makes cutting any shape. How simple is that, right? Now for my little heart, we just need a piece of a dimensional and expose the adhesive. And there they are. How cute are they? Your Sublime, Follow Your Heart note cards. If you've got any questions about this project, about the Stampin' Up! Retirement list, if there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, email me, Marissa@kitchentablestamper.com. Thanks for watching.